Commander Zethara of the Vorthak Armada watched the blue marble of Earth through the viewing port of her flagship, the Dominion's Edge. Around her vessel, 3,000 warships formed an impenetrable sphere around humanity's homeworld. Each ship bristled with plasma cannons capable of turning continents to glass. The combined firepower could reduce Earth to cosmic dust within minutes. "Status report," she commanded, her forearms working simultaneously across multiple command interfaces. "All fleets in position, Commander. Planetary defense networks have been neutralized. Human military vessels have been disabled or destroyed. Earth is completely surrounded and defenseless." Her tactical officers' mandibles clicked. With satisfaction, Zethara nodded grimly. After 18 months of warfare across 12 star systems, humanity's expansion had finally been halted. The upstart species that had dared to colonize Vortic territory would learn their place in the galactic order. "Open a channel to Earth's leadership," she ordered. The massive view screen flickered to life, revealing a simple room where a single human sat at a modest desk. No grand war room, no gathered council of leaders, just one unremarkable woman with graying hair and tired eyes. "I am Secretary General Elena Vasquez of the United Earth Government," the human said calmly. "I assume you're here for our surrender." "Your assumption is correct," Zethara replied, her translator rendering her words into the human's primitive language. "I am Commander Zethara. Your species has violated Vorthak space, established illegal colonies on our worlds, and resisted our rightful authority. You will evacuate all disputed systems immediately and submit to Vorthak oversight of human expansion." The human, Elena, leaned back in her chair. "I see. And if we refuse? Then Earth dies. Every human city, every settlement, every trace of your civilization will be erased. Your species will serve as a warning to others who would challenge the Vorthak Empire." Elena was quiet for a long moment, her eyes studying something off camera. When she looked back, there was something different in her expression. Not fear, but a kind of weary resolve. "Commander Zethara, before you make your final decision, I'd like to show you something. Would you accept a data transmission from Earth?" Zethara's secondary arms hovered over her weapons controls. What could these primitive beings possibly show her that would matter now? "You have 30 seconds. The data package arrived and automatically began playing on auxiliary screens throughout the bridge. It was a compilation of human transmissions, not military communications or propaganda, but something far more mundane. A father in Mumbai reading bedtime stories to his daughter over video call while stationed on Mars colony. A group of teenagers in Lagos laughing together as they played some sort of electronic game. Scientists in Antarctica sharing their excitement over discovering microorganisms in ice samples. An elderly couple in Tokyo celebrating their 70th wedding anniversary, surrounded by 5 generations of descendants. The transmissions continued, thousands of them. Wedding celebrations from New Sydney, students graduating from the University of Titan, a jazz quartet performing in a small club on Europa Station, children's choirs singing in dozens of languages, artists creating sculptures from asteroid minerals, farmers tending vertical gardens in underground cities. "These are just routine civilian communications from the past week." Elena's voice accompanied the stream. "Nothing special or staged, just humans being human." Zethara found herself transfixed by the images. In 18 months of warfare, she had studied human military capabilities, their weapons, their tactics. She had learned to respect their tenacity in battle, their refusal to yield even when vastly outgunned. But this was different. "Do you see anything unusual, Commander?" Elena asked. "They appear to be ordinary civilian activities," Zethara replied, though she wasn't sure why she was still watching. "Exactly. These are people living their lives, loving their families, pursuing their dreams, creating beauty. They're not soldiers or politicians or negotiators. They're teachers and farmers and artists and children. 5 billion individual stories, each one unique and irreplaceable." The transmission continued. A mother singing a lullaby on Luna Base. Scientists collaborating across solar systems to cure a rare disease. A young couple planting earth flowers in the soil of New Eden colony, dreaming of the garden they would grow together. In your empire, Commander, how many worlds have you conquered? How many species have you subjugated? 47 worlds. 11 species, Zathara answered automatically. And in all those conquests, did any of those species ever show you what they were fighting to protect? Not their military assets or strategic resources, but the actual lives that would be lost? Zathara remained silent. Victory had always been measured in territorial gains, resource acquisition, strategic advantage. The conquered became subjects, their cultures absorbed or eliminated as needed. It was the natural order. I'm not asking you to spare us because we're innocent, Elena continued. We've fought your people. We've killed your soldiers. We've established colonies in space you claimed. But I am asking you to see what you would be destroying. Not humanity as a strategic threat, but humans as living beings. On the screen, a group of children from Earth's orbital stations were drawing pictures of their homes, crude crayon sketches of planets and stars and the faces of people they loved. One young boy held up his drawing, a stick figure family holding hands beneath a yellow sun. My grandson drew that, Elena said quietly. He's 7 years old. He wants to be a xenogeologist when he grows up. He studies pictures of different planet formations and dreams about discovering new mineral formations. Yesterday he asked me if there were other children on other worlds who looked up at the same stars. Something shifted in Zathara's chest, a tightness she had never experienced before. Around her, the bridge crew continued their preparations for planetary bombardment, but their movement seemed suddenly distant, unreal. Every person on Earth, every human in our colonies, they all have stories like this. Dreams, fears, loves, hopes. When you destroy us, you won't just be eliminating a strategic threat. You'll be ending 5 billion unique stories that will never be told again. The transmission ended with a simple image, the view from Earth's moon, showing the blue marble floating in the darkness of space. No words, no music, just the sight of a living world. Elena looked directly into the camera. I won't beg for our lives, Commander, but I wanted you to see what you're choosing to destroy. Make your decision with full knowledge of what it means. The channel closed. Zathara stared at the empty screen for long moments. Around her, the bridge crew waited for orders. 3,000 ships waited for the command to fire. The greatest military force in Vorthak history hung in space, ready to write the final chapter of human civilization. Commander? Her tactical officer prompted. Zathara looked out at Earth, still turning peacefully in the void. Somewhere on that blue sphere, a 7-year-old boy was dreaming about rocks and stars. Teachers were preparing lessons. Musicians were composing songs. Families were sharing meals and making memories. She activated the fleet-wide communication system. All ships, this is command. Stand down from attack formation. Begin withdrawal to the outer system. We need to reconsider our options. The tactical officer's mandibles clicked in confusion. Commander, our orders were clear. Our orders, Zathara said quietly, were to eliminate a threat to the Empire. But I'm beginning to wonder if we've been defining threat incorrectly. As the Vorthak fleet pulled back from Earth, Zathara opened a private channel to her superiors. There would be questions, challenges to her authority, perhaps a court, martial. But for the first time in her military career, she found herself thinking about the difference between winning a war and doing what was right. On Earth, Elena Vasquez watched the alien ships retreat and allowed herself one moment of relief before turning to the monumental task ahead, figuring out how to turn this momentary reprieve into lasting peace. The war might be paused, but the real work was just beginning. Sometimes, she reflected, the most powerful weapon wasn't technology or tactics, but simply helping others see the full truth of what they were about to destroy.